Officials are now announcing new criminal cases involving more than $930 million in imported gold jewelry. They're alleging companies mislabeled the country of origin to avoid paying millions in U.S. customs duties. So David Gelman is a former prosecutor and criminal defense attorney. He's back with us. And Gregory Lyakhov is a campus reform correspondent. Great to have you both around the table here today. So David, starting with you here first. Billions of dollars have been recovered under President Trump. Who knows why they didn't look into this earlier under any other administration. But now that they have this money back, or they're trying to obtain it, where does it ultimately go? Does it go back to the state? Does it go back to the federal level? And also just your reaction in general to the lack of accountability we've seen until this point.
It's a really good question where the money is going to go, because that's, the big thing everybody wants to know. I bet the federal government will probably make a deal with the states eventually, but probably it'll go towards our deficit, I would hope.
Yeah.
That'd be the first thing, because President Trump always talks about getting money and then going towards our deficit. But look, number one, if you look at it, when the governor or the government said they are working hand in hand with different agencies, isn't that so refreshing?
Yeah.
Because the agencies, they never talk to each other. But in this particular administration, everybody's kind of working together, and it's a seamless transaction. And that's why we're getting such fraud compliments. If you think about it, all the money coming in from these different investigations are going towards the government and going towards the deficit. It's really refreshing, and I love it.
It's not just in the United States. I mean, think about all those fraud daycare centers that people have now pleaded guilty about, but they were taking that money. I mean, they came here because we opened our arms to welcome them, and then they welcomed our money and took it back to their home countries and spent it on condos, on resorts, on fancy cars, things like that. So Gregory, this means that other countries are helping us in this effort to collect the money back.
Yeah, well, look, some administrations choose to accomplish their agenda by spending money. The Trump administration is choosing to accomplish their agenda by saving money. And that is the big difference here, that we finally have an administration that cares about the taxpayer dollars and the amount of money that the American people are spending. Look, there's so much fraud in our country, it's not even funny. Campus Reform at the very beginning of the Trump administration's term covered a story about the U.S. Department of Education, which uncovered 150,000 students that just were AI generated. They were false applications. And this is happening all around the country in every field. We have never had an administration like the Trump administration that has been working so well with whether it's other countries or, as you mentioned, other agencies to actually accomplish a goal in limiting the amount of taxpayer dollars that are spent on programs that should have never existed.
And it's happening in all industries, whether it's healthcare, whether it's pertaining to just jobs in general, getting visas. And then people are lying about the numbers of even students enrolled, to your point. And this is a major issue, David, because President Trump, again, is using all hands on deck in order to solve it.
Yeah, and look, remember where it all came from? Elon Musk and Doge.
I know.
Nobody thinks about that anymore, right?
Yeah.
But this is where it all originated from. And before this administration, just like your point, nobody talked about this. No administration before this ever did anything about government waste and government spending. And Doge and Elon Musk, and now continuing to go through the government, is doing this. And, look, we're just at the tip of the iceberg.
Yeah.
We all know that. There's
Sure.
plenty more money that's being wasted. And hopefully we'll get it back eventually.
Yeah, it's like Musk went through the meat grinder. I mean, everybody is dumping on him. Seriously.
Poor guy. Yeah,
and he's just trying to help us taxpayers use our money wisely. The other thing is, what irritates me, and I think most Americans, tell me if I'm wrong, but it's when you feel like you're getting ripped off. I mean, just right and left. And so the folks who were coming in and were then, ripping off the social services, say in Minnesota, and then would tell other people from their country, hey, this is like taking candy from a baby. Come on in. And it just continued. It grew that way.
Yeah, it's terrible. I mean, we have seen this trend again in every blue state. Nick Shirley just had a report out, last week about New York, where we are stationed. So this is crazy. It's happening all around the country. There's a bunch of fraud that needs to be uncovered. And the only way we're going to do that is with a DOJ that is willing to prosecute and a DOJ that is willing to investigate these sort of instances. And the only DOJ that is willing to investigate and has continuously been willing to is a Trump DOJ. So very good on the Trump administration for accomplishing one of their key agenda points of finally saving the taxpayers' dollars.
And for whistleblowers, there's now an administration that will listen.
Yes.
Yeah,
surprising.
and to that point, I mean, Nick Shirley, we're giving a lot of credit to Elon Musk and now J.D. Vance too, but without correspondents, people like you, young individuals who are actually doing the real investigative reporting, we may have never uncovered so much of this fraud. I mean, can you talk a little bit about Nick Shirley and maybe did he inspire you at all on campus? What impact does he have?
Yeah, Nick Shirley has a massive impact, especially on my generation. He has shown that young people actually have a place at this table. Look, fraud is something that no one talks about, and if you do talk about it, you talk about it in a legal sense. It's not something young people tend to focus on, and it's definitely not something young people think that they're educated to talk about. Nick Shirley showed that all you need is a camera. You just need to show up and you'll find fraud, and that was wonderful. Look, for kids that I have spoken to personally, everyone has been inspired by Nick Shirley because he has taken it from a field that is supposed to be of specialists, of people that are experts in this field, to people like me who are just kids in this field or just students, rising students, who don't know anything really compared to these experts and who just want to get their foot in the game of making our country better.
Yeah, but Nick did take his mother with him.
He did. Credit to his mom
Just want to
as
say
well.
that. There's always a mom behind somebody.
Good job. Raised him very well, as you know, your folks too.
Gregory and David, thanks so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.